How do you mess up 100 M's? I seen Antoine Walker getting off the bus over there in Boston was looking crazy. $100 million.
Hey guys, Peterson, 5.2 million sale of Adrian Peterson trophies or awards. A Pennsylvania lending company called D'Angelo Vehicle Sales loaned AP, Adrian Peterson, $5.2 million in 2016. When AP planned to use most of the money to pay back other lenders. But he
But here's my thing. Before we even get into this, I guess my question first is, um, my first question is, how do you take out loans as a person that's generated almost $100 million in your career? How are you taking out $5 million loans, man? You know when I hear about these athletes a lot of times, because the first thing that you do, let me tell you the first thing that you're supposed to do when you get money. Well, it's only one or two ways that you can look at it, right? When you first get some money, it don't matter if you're an athlete, it don't matter what you are. When you first get money, the first thing you want to do is you want to make sure that you still got it. So you checking to make sure that it's real. Like you waking up in the morning, um, and you want to check your accounts to make sure that it's real and that this is not a dream or whatever. So the first thing that you do, okay, well, the first thing that most dudes do is they trick it off because they feel like they're gonna have some more coming, right? So let's say you're an athlete and you get money, and because I coach some of these dudes, so I know what their sentiment is. Um, the first thing that they do is they go, they go get them a car, they go get them some chains, they go get a buzz down. So your first checks is out of there, right? Your first checks is out of there. The other group of people, and this is usually what white people do, the other group of people, they just want to make sure that it's still there. So they're not tricking it off like everybody else, right? Like, because you come from nothing, and so you like, man, you want to make sure that you make enough to where when you spend something, you ain't tripping off of it. You want to, you know what I'm saying? You want to make sure that like, oh man, I'm straight, I'm secure. So you ain't really spending no money. Because when you go broke at first, and that's why it's always good to have failure in controlled environments. That's the way we want to have our kids, is raise them to be able to fail in controlled environments, because you're gonna have failures throughout your life. But if you fail in a controlled environment, then you learn the lesson and you know how to manage it more effectively. So, going broke in my early 20s when the recession hit in 2008 when I had my daughter, when you start getting money again, you like, fuck that. I ain't moving. I ain't buying nothing. All I'm going to do is invest it, and I'm going to just start stacking like crazy, because you never, ever, ever want to feel that again. You never, ever want to go broke again. You never want to have to. If you mess up once, okay, I can feel that. If you keep messing up year after year after year and you make 100 million and you still messing up, we got a problem then, right? So that's crazy to even think about it, bro.
didn't, they don't know
That ain't even including his endorsement money.
what he did with the loan, but they do know
Right.
he didn't pay back the company that he borrowed the money for. So he borrowed 5.2 million. In 2021, a New York judge entered a judgment of $8.3 million against AP stemming from unpaid loans. Court records indicate that he hasn't paid up since, and instead has been ensnared in a legal battle over legal battles over attempts to seize his property to collect on that judgment, including items that have been kept in multiple storage units. On Wednesday,
Damn,
dozens of his personal items even were advertised as sale at a Texas auction, including his 2012 MVP, his 2007 Rookie of the Year. Now Peterson is fighting that too. He said in a video, "We allow them to go into several of our storage units with clear instructions. I want to emphasize that I'm financially stable and would never sell my hard-earned trophies." In 15 seasons, Adrian Peterson earned an estimated over.
Listen, hold on. Before we get into that, let me just break this down. This nigga he played 15 seasons. 15 seasons in the NFL. Don't you? The average NFL player plays 3.3 years in the league. With the average career lasting that long is considered one of the most physically demanding sports leagues in the world. The players regularly exposed to hard. So the average NFL player only plays 3.3 years. 3.3 years in the league. The average NFL player. All right? So when you get to play 15 years in the league, you really did it. Like you made it. He played 15 seasons, three-time rushing champ, named the league's MVP in 2012, earned more than $100 million combined, most of it from his time in 2007 to 2016, but he hasn't played since 2021. And I just read a report where it was saying that he's looking forward to playing again. $8.3 million judgment stemming from an unpaid loan. Court records indicated he hasn't paid up since. Instead, has been ensnared in illegal battles over an attempt to seize his property and collect on his judgment from his storage units. Dozens of personal items. He goes on to say, I didn't authorize any of the sales of my trophies. We'll be taking legal action. It's over for you, dog. Trusting this company without supervision was my mistake. We allowed them to go into several of our storage units with clear instructions. They clearly did something unlawful. I want to emphasize that I'm financially stable, cap, because you wouldn't be borrowing, and I would never sell off my hard-earned trophies. And if I was going to sell them, I know people I could sell them to. I wouldn't go online, and I wouldn't sell my personal items randomly. Goes on to say it's not clear how financial is on the court, but he's been called a court-appointed receiver in Texas over his items in storage unit. In 2022, a court in Houston appointed Robert Burleth as a receiver to collect judgment on behalf of the lender, a Pennsylvania lending company called D'Angelo Vehicle Sales. The company loaned Peterson $5.2 million in 2016 when Peterson played for the Vikings and planned to use most of the money to pay back other lenders. So he was already fucked up, right? He didn't pay back. He didn't pay him back. He owes him more, including interest. He might as well file for bankruptcy at this point. Last year, the court-appointed receiver even filed a complaint against Peterson, alleging that Peterson was trying to avoid paying what he owed on that judgment by transferring ownership of storage units to his wife. Nope, can't do it, big dog. That's dumb. Why is this stuff in storage units in the first place? Loan agreement 2016. Pay back in full, agreed to pay it back in full, a loan that was secured by his NFL contract. So he leveraged his NFL contract in order to secure a loan. A few months after the loan was executed, the Vikings declined to pick up the $18 million option on his contract, let him go as a free agent. He came back from a knee injury he suffered shortly after the loan was executed in 2016, but his earnings fell short after leaving the Vikings, never topping $3.5 million a year. He didn't pay back what he was owed, civil judgment, 9% post-judgment interest, eventually leading to appointment of a receiver to collect on Peterson at his home in Texas. 2002, court records show the receiver conducted a field collection at Peterson's home in Missouri City, Texas, seized a 2007 BMW. These niggas is broke, bro. A Yamaha piano. They taking your piano. He's saying that this is in my wife's name. And it's continuing to grow because of interest. That's the thing that people don't understand, right, bro. When you have problems and when you start to lose, you lose big because more money, more problems is a real thing. Meaning this, when you fuck up when you only making 50 bands a year, you can get away with that shit. When you fuck up when you making $5 million a year and you don't get yourself together, the interest is crazy. That's why Steve Harvey said that he had to work so much for so many years until he got his money together after he had all of that money that he owed in back taxes to the IRS, because $1 million problems create $1 million interest, and $1 million interest is a lot of fucking money. And once you stop earning that money, you can't get that back. You know what I'm saying? Like, because he'll never ever get to the point in the league to where he's earning $3.5 million a year. So even though he made $100 million in his contract, let's say he took home less than half of that because he had to pay agents fees, he had to pay taxes, and all of that, right? Over in Minnesota, everything. Let's say he took home $40 million, right? Let's say on the conservative side, $35 million after all of the fees and everything like that. All right, so you took home $35 million. What the fuck you spend $35 million on? This is why I don't believe in loans and shit, bro, because the first rule in Fight Club is you don't talk about Fight Club. You got to secure the bag. You got to secure yourself. So the first thing that he should have did was pay everything in cash. You made $100 million, even after taxes. Let's say you took home $35 million. Every single thing that you bought should have been paid for. All of your homes should have been paid for. You should have had money in stocks, property, real estate. Every single thing should have been paid for. Is no reason for this man to ever, under any circumstances, nigga, if you making over $1 million a year, then there's no reason for anybody to be taking out loans. That's why when people tell me, yo, Anton, make money, to borrow money to make money, bro, unless I'm leveraging something in order to prevent myself from having to pay taxes, there's no reason for anybody that's making over $1 million a year to ever take out a loan. Nigga, you got a lifestyle problem. See, Brave Dave, you off. Jay-Z and Beyonce took out a loan on a $200 million home note. It's not that they took out a loan on a $200 million home that they couldn't afford it. It's that they made sure that they borrowed against their assets so they didn't have to pay taxes on the money that they'd have to generate in order to buy a house for $200 million. It's a difference. They're leveraging their assets to prevent them from having to pay as much in taxes. So I'll give you the game. Let's say, for example, you trying to buy something for $200 million. Numbers is crazy, right? But let's say you're trying to buy something for $200 million. Well, it's not the same for rich people because I'd have to generate, especially over in California, $400 million because then I have to pay taxes at the highest tax rate in order to spend $200 million in buying a home. So what they do is they leverage their assets in order to draw a loan because the loan is practically guaranteed, so they get it at a much lower rate because they know for a fact that you're actually putting up collateral against what it is that you're borrowing against. So now they don't have to take the money that they made and then pay an egregious amount of taxes on it in order to buy the asset. So you take out the loan against something else in order to buy the property because now you don't have to pay taxes, so you don't have to give the federal government and your state fucking $150 million, $200 million just to buy a $200 million home. That's how rich people leverage taking out loans. It's not the same as consumer debt. It's not like a fucking credit card. It's not like you doing a 30-year mortgage. They're leveraging their assets to prevent themselves from having to give $200 million over to the federal government. It's a money game. It's a money play. So it's not the same. They make way more money off of letting their money collect money and then paying the interest on the loan against their collateral than giving the fucking federal government $100 million, $200 million in taxes. It's a money play. All right? So you can't compare it. It's not the same. But for us regular folk, because we not fucking Jay-Z, we not Beyonce, we not Mark Zuckerberg. Mark Zuckerberg do the same thing. Elon Musk do the same thing. All of the rich people do the same thing in order to make sure that they don't give money over to the federal government and too much in taxes. You got to spend the money so that you can make more money. But for us regular folk, we need to get rid of the money and buying assets and then let our assets then take care of us so that we don't go broke once we get past that age where we at the apex of how much that we making. Okay? That's the difference.
Hey, guys.
Let me fast forward it through this. I want to get Shannon and Ocho Cinco's perspective on this.
Of his personal items, an estimated over $100 million. That show, look how much money AP got. Look at this birthday party. A camel? You gonna pay for 300 guests to fly first class?
That's why I coach a lot of these athletes that's getting some money now, bro. Like, because they realize that shit is not gonna last forever. And he played 15 years in the league, but telling you, man, the average NBA player, the average NFL player, they only playing 3 and 4 years in the league. They filed for bankruptcy within 5 years after getting out of the league. Most of them is filing for bankruptcy before they turn 30 years old, and that's a travesty.
Ocho, listen to what I'm saying. Do you know a jumbo jet? So he needed basically 2 jumbo jets, 10 jumbo jets. And you put 300 people. So guess what, Ocho? If you fly them first class, who the hell putting them people up? You. So if you fly them people, Ocho, when you brought your guests to Hawaii for the Pro Bowl, you flew them in. Yeah. Guess what Ocho had to do? Put them up. Guess what else Ocho had to do? Feed them.
Yeah.
We got a lifestyle problem. A lot of these guys get used to that big old paycheck, just like you guys get used to y'all big old paycheck. First thing you need to do is you need to pay cash, pay everything off, pay cash for everything, and then you just start investing. Don't go tricking off. Don't go buying buzz down watches and all of that shit. Y'all going trying to impress the Joneses and stuff. Man, buy you a house and be normal. Buy a normal house first. Get all of your stuff situated. Set yourself up for life. Set up your kids to where they got college funds and pay everything off. And then you can start having a little bit of fun. Then you take 25% of everything you make and you can do whatever you want with that. The other 75%, that's what you use to make sure that you continue to reinvest so that you're not going broke, bro.
Hey, I have a question before I even get into this. Do you think this story is real, or maybe it's exaggerated, maybe a little bit fabricated?
That's because that's
300. That's quite a lot. That's quite a lot. It just I'm trying to wrap my head around it.
Hold on. Peterson made a list of about 320 friends and family members, brought his guests first-class plane tickets to Houston, and booked them first-class hotel rooms to attend his birthday party.
Dummy.
Now, he did this in 2015 and turned right around in 2016 and borrowed $5.2 million.
Dummy.
Damn, man. Listen, people that have followed me throughout my career have followed me just in life in general. Obviously, Unc, you've grown to know me and understand how financially conscious I am when it comes to spending, my habits and my cheap ways. And it would I call it cheap. Most would call it, very frugal. It's to not just lead by example, but to prevent situations like this. Obviously, I love AP, a good friend of mine, and I hate speaking on one's misfortunes, but it's an unfortunate situation. It's very unfortunate, and I think sometimes we get caught up in the image, the lifestyle that the NFL provides us with the money that we're making, and not thinking long term.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think that's one of the things that we miss out on is we miss out on the small opportunity, the small window that we do have, in thinking that this money will continue to always come in. These big checks making $650,000. You know what it's like to have a $650,000 check every Monday? Do you know what that's like?
No, I don't know what it's like. But I'm saying, I made good money.
$650,000 check for every game day is insane. Absolutely, positively insane. And these dudes live off of that, and they get used to that, and then they change their entire lifestyle, and they fuck up their life for the rest of their life because they can't unsee it or they can't go back. And think about it. Most of them don't have no transferable skills. They don't have nothing coming in for the rest of their life. And now they set on that for the rest of their life. They don't know how to invest. They only in their 20s. And we look up to them because they make a whole lot of money because the contract look big, but everybody getting their cut, agents getting their cut, financial advisor getting their cut, all of their homeboys getting their cut. They got to have a barber to fly in. They got private chefs. They living a life. They got bottles in the club. They fucking up everything. They running up a check and all of this. And 4 years, 5 years, if you're lucky, 6 years later, you filing for bankruptcy, bro.
made good money when I
Right.
played the league,
Right.
and I know to getting
But
getting 300, 400,000 every 2 weeks.
Yeah, and
Crazy.
just the thought of it, I think for me, it hit me early. It hit me in year 3 with great understanding. Okay, I'm thinking long term. I'm trying to set myself up. So I scale back
But
on it.
year 3
Listen,
for
I'm
most of
all for
these dudes, he said it hit him in year 3. On average, most players, because y'all looking at the Ochos, y'all looking at, the Tom Brady's and the Shannon Sharps and all of these guys. On average, the average NFL player only lasts in the league for 3.5 years. This not normal for them to go past year 3. He said after year 3, that's when he was like, you know what? I got to start scaling back. I got to do things a little bit differently.
enjoying yourself, the fruits of your labor. You work hard as hell to get to the NFL. You work hard as hell. Enjoy yourself. But you got to know when to say no to family.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You got to know when to say no to friends, and you got to know when to say no to those who mean you no good that's around you, especially those that wasn't there before you made it. You got to learn to say no because they never know when to turn it off.
No.
They never know when to turn it off. And the more you enable them, always giving, they're gonna keep coming back more and more. And everybody always has an idea. Everybody has a money idea on what
With
to
your
do
money.
with your money. Always. And it never pans out the way they think it is. Everybody has a great idea. But listen, I don't know the issue personally, but on this case in general, this can be a lesson for a lot of players, especially now. They think, oh, I'm making much more than he was getting paid back then. They're giving me, but if you don't
spending more
have
too, though.
structure, yeah, and you're spending more. If you don't have structure, if you have no financial discipline, everybody else gonna be in the same situation. 10 years from now, you're gonna be in the same situation.
You have to givers have to put lenders, have to put limits on takers because takers never put limits on what they'll take. So if you don't put it, but here's the problem the AP running into. You don't get to determine what they take. If you take out a loan, Ocho, or if you or I take out a loan and we default on that loan, they coming to get anything of damn value. Your house, your cars, they took a Mickey Mouse watch off a Red Fox arm.
What?
So you think, hold on. But here's the thing. How does that sound? You are the default judgment, but you saying you financially set.
Listen, we never, obviously, I don't know his personal situation. Normally, there are ways that
I guess some states you can file bankruptcy.
Yeah.
But why, Ocho, why are you in this? You made $100 million. You made $100 million, and you throw a party you throw a birthday party for your 30th birthday. Ain't no telling how much it costs. If you flying 300, you might have spent damn near $500,000 on plane tickets.
You can forget it. If you waiting on Anton from antondaniels.com and you talking about spending $500,000 on plane tickets, you can fucking forget it. It's not happening. Nope. Not happening. Not a thing. Never gonna play out that way. I'm not playing at all. It's not gonna happen. Nope. I'm not doing it. You could just forget it. Hey, shout out to Adrian Peterson. God bless you. I hope that everything. You know what's so funny? I know of some people, some ex-NBA players and some ex-football players that's fucked up. And when I say fucked up, I mean like messed up financially. They are messed up, and they won't go get a job because they feel shame. They feel shame that the idea that I would have to go and be a regular person, or somebody would see me, or they don't feel like they got any transferable skills, and so a lot of times they just feel shamed. And they don't feel like they could ever go and get another job or get a regular job or anything like that. And so they just go back and they just be normal for the rest of their life.